State versus Robert Weibel, 18427. Robert Weibel.
No, that is Mr. Cooper's case. That is a case that will be resolved with a plea. It's a situation where the defendant is coming up with a restitution, and that will affect the offer that the plea. We could get that in on your May docket, Judge.
Judge, we can handle Mr. Alsop.
It says 6 years in the Arkansas Department of Corrections with all but 1 year to be served and 5 years suspended imposition of sentence. Is what's contemplated, he'd be sentenced to 1 year in the Arkansas Department of Correction, followed by 5 years suspended imposition of sentence. Sir, have you gone over this document?
Yes, sir, I have.
Do you feel you understand what's in the document?
Yes, sir.
You understand the charges against you and the range of penalties if you're convicted?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Is this squiggly line your signature?
Yes, sir, it is.
Are you entering a plea of guilty to breaking or entering, theft of property, a D felony and theft of property, a misdemeanor, criminal mischief,
Yes.
felony and possession of drug paraphernalia, a felony?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
By entering your pleas, you're giving up your right to have a trial and you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone promised you anything other than what's in this document?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Have you been pressured or threatened to get you to change your plea?
No, sir, Your Honor.
So you're entering your plea freely and voluntarily?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
And because you're guilty of these crimes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did he do?
Your Honor, this occurred on or about September 7th of 2018. This defendant and another woman by the name of Corey Hardy broke into a houseboat on Jordan Landing Road and began living in this houseboat that belonged to a gentleman that lives in Paragould. While there, they consumed his food, treated it like it was theirs, and they used the things on the boat. When they were discovered by the people at the boat dock and law enforcement officer, they had some drug paraphernalia. I think it was a pipe, a small green tin container that appeared to contain the residue of marijuana, along with a small glass vial, along with a syringe.
Did you do that, sir?
Your Honor, the syringe was found in the lady's purse. I had no idea it was even there, Your Honor. Everything else is accurate except for the drug paraphernalia.
Okay. Well, what should we do about that? He says he's not guilty of it.
Let me.
He didn't have to plead to it, no.
We would just excise that charge then?
No.
Oh.
You can choose to believe that. I don't.
Okay. Well, okay.
There was certainly a tin that contained marijuana, Your Honor, and a vial that amounts to paraphernalia.
I was smoking the weed. I plead guilty to the drug paraphernalia marijuana.
This time, sir, I accept your plea and judge you guilty for breaking or entering. You're sentenced to 1 year in the Department of Corrections, be followed by a 5-year suspended imposition of sentence. For theft of property, you're sentenced to 1 year in the Department of Corrections, to be followed by a 5-year suspended imposition of sentence. For misdemeanor theft of property, you're sentenced to 240 days in the county jail. For criminal mischief, you're sentenced to 1 year in the Department of Corrections, to be followed by a 5-year suspended imposition of sentence. For possession of drug paraphernalia, you're sentenced to it's charged with felony paraphernalia.
It's not a felony, Judge.
It's not a felony?
No, it is not.
Be sentenced to 240 days in the county jail. You pay $200 in cost, a $2,000 fine, a DNA fee of $250, $20 booking fee, $200 in public defender fees, a drug crime assessment of $125, $3,300 in restitution. Pay what you owe at a minimum rate of $100 per month beginning within 60 days after your release. You make your payments to the Sheriff's Department here in Baxter County.
Can I ask the courtroom what the restitution was for?
What was the restitution for?
There was a breakdown, you know, that cost, I think, $700 to clean the boat. There was another $1,400 to clean another. The restitution requested by the victim was some $4,800, and I went through it. I did not agree with him, although I probably would agree with him that he threw the sheets and the mattresses out that this man decided to sleep on. So I really can't argue with that. But actually, that came down from about a $4,800 plea I didn't agree with. So it was a compromise on behalf of the state to go to 33. But Mr. Pastings has a breakdown of that. He has a breakdown of the 4,800, which I did not necessarily agree with.
Okay.
Gary, I don't know that I do, but
Apparently your attorney knows.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have that in this, but I'll get it.
-135, Ginger Green.
If I may approach you on.
May.
Judge, this plea statement has been modified. Initially, this matter was going to be a drug court plea. I've modified it to 6 years probation, discussed it with the state, and they're in agreement.
Ms. Green?
Sir.
I'm looking over your police statement and the terms and conditions of probation. Have you gone over these documents?
Yes, sir.
And have you signed each of them?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel you understand what's in these documents?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the charge against you and the range of penalty if you're convicted?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, are you pleading guilty to possession of drug paraphernalia, Class D felony?
Yes, sir.
When you plead guilty, you're giving up your right to have a trial and you cannot appeal. Do you know that?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Have you been promised anything other than the sentencing
No, sir.
recommendation? Have you been pressured or threatened to get you to change your plea?
No, sir.
And you're guilty of this crime?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When was she in possession of this drug
Judge,
paraphernalia?
on March 19th of last year, Mountain Home Police Department went to 616 East 8th Street here in Mountain Home in an attempt to locate a man named Joseph Young. They would have found Miss Green at that apartment, and during the search of that apartment, they found numerous used bags with crystal residue, one bag with crystalline substance, one turned out to be bath salts, one smoking glass pipe with narcotic residue, and one spoon that had been used to load a syringe.
That's true, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
This time I accept your plea and judge you guilty. You'll be placed on 6 years probation. During that time, report to probation, obey the terms and conditions provided to you. You'll pay $200 in cost, a $2,000 fine, a DNA fee of $250, $20 booking fee, $200 in public defender fees, drug crime assessment of $125, and pay what you owe. A minimum rate of $100 per month beginning within 60 days. Pay the Sheriff's Department.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who can we take up next?
Well, you want to do Part T?
Sure.
Joshua Partee, Your Honor.
Very well. It's 18-407. Mr. Partee, I'm looking at a police statement and some conditions of probation. Have you gone over these?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you signed these, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what's in these documents?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the, pardon me, the charges against you and the range of penalty if you're convicted?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty to possession of methamphetamine, possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia?
Yes, sir.
By entering your plea of guilty, you don't get to have a trial nor an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Have you been promised anything other than this plea, this sentencing recommendation?
No, sir.
Has anyone pressured you or threatened you to get you to change your plea?
No, sir.
Are you guilty of these crimes?
Yes, sir.
What's the factual basis?
Judge, this arises out of a traffic stop that took place on September the 11th, 2018. Sergeant Robert McCoy with the Mountain Home Police Department would have stopped Mr. Partee here in the city of Mountain Home, and upon search of his vehicle, he would have found a syringe, 10 oxycodone pills, a plastic baggie of crystallized substance, a quantity of marijuana, rolling papers, a metal and a rubber pipe with residue, and digital scales.
Is that true, sir? Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, what is the contemplated sentence here? I'm not sure I understand. Is it,
It's a CCC plea, Your Honor. It's supposed to be 6 years with a judicial transfer. I'm not sure. We try and type that the same way every time, but
Is it 6 years probation with
probation
condition
plus.
of which is 2 years in Department of Community Corrections?
Yes, Judge. It's probation plus is what it amounts to. It's
Is that
6
what-
years.
Is that what you understood? What did you?
6 years before suspended and 2 CCC. I don't know, that's what I was asking him, because it's parole plus probation. I don't know why the probation is there.
Well, it's probation. It's supposed to be probation plus, Your Honor. It's 6 years as a condition of his probation. He must complete a 2-year residential treatment center, although
think-
he can complete that in 9 months.
I think what we can do is, we could sentence him to 6 years probation, a condition of which he sentenced to 2 years in the Community Correction Center, but he needs to understand that.
You understand that?
6 years probation with just
A
a
condition.
condition of doing CCC.
Yeah, but condition of that is you have to go to Community Correction Center
Yeah.
for a 2-year sentence.
What am I gonna do on the 2 years?
They'll let you out when they're ready to, but normally a lot less than that.
Historically,
I
it's
can't
9
make any
months.
promises, you see.
Well,
because it's-
Judge, I think typically it's 1 year.
Yeah, I know.
Historically, they can write you a letter, and if this man completes that program, he can be out in 9 months.
Yeah,
That's,
No sooner than that.
and that's what I've shared with him, Judge, is that 270 days has been my understanding on a sentence such as this is what you would want to do.
That often happens, but I guess there's some hesitancy because I can't guarantee anything. I can't tell you you'll be there so many days or so long.
Can we put it in the paperwork? Do I
No.
do
You gotta
All
complete-
I can do is what I said I could do.
But it's a treatment center, Your Honor. The
I've
man
been
has to
there
complete the
before.
program.
I just want to be clear what the sentence is.
the 6 years probation and,
As a condition to serve
yeah,
the CCC. Do you understand that?
yeah.
And you willing to go
Get
forward?
out on 6-year probation.
Correct, and you willing to go forward with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll sentence you, and if it's not
I'm
what you
tired of
agree
sitting
to, let me know. You're a judge guilty, on each felony, you're sentenced to 6 years probation, a condition of which you'll serve 2 years in the Arkansas Community Correction Center. And when I say serve 2 years, you can be released earlier sometimes, most of the time. And that's also the sentence on possession of drug paraphernalia. In possession of marijuana, you're sentenced to 30 days in the county jail. You're ordered to pay $200 in cost, a $2,000 fine, a DNA fee of $250, $20 booking fee, public defender fee totaling $200, a drug crime assessment of $125. Pay what you owe at a minimum rate of $100 per month, beginning within 60 days after your release. I'll call Ms. Hudnall, Patricia Hudnall, 18179.
Judge, Ms. Hudnall is with us today. The court had called earlier. She was en route and is here now. The state has made an offer. She has declined that offer.
Your Honor, what is Ms. Hudnall charged with?
Possession of drug paraphernalia. 2 counts.
Judge, I'm pretty confident we can try this lady.
Okay. Okay. You desire to do it?
Can we do it tomorrow?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, I don't have a file Corey, so it's difficult. Judge, Miss Hudnall is an absconder from the probation and parole. She has a warrant that's going to be served on.
Okay. I guess if you'll go with this gentleman.
Yes, yes, sir.
Judge, to be clear, the state has made an offer.
I'm sorry.
Let's go ahead while Ms. Hudnall's here. The state has made an offer to resolve this case. I have advised her to accept that offer. Against my advice, she has declined and desires to have a trial.
That's fine. Richard Berger, 18-331. Mr. Berger, I'm looking at a police statement and some conditions of suspension of probation. You've gone over these, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand what's in the documents?
Yes, sir.
You understand the charges against you and the range of penalties if you're convicted?
I do, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty to possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of marijuana?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
When you plead guilty, you're giving up your right to have a trial, and you also give up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Are
sir.
you entering these pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Have you been promised anything other than what's in this sentencing recommendation?
No, Your Honor.
Have you been pressured or threatened to get you to change your plea?
No, sir.
And are you guilty of these crimes, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What happened?
Your Honor, on about July 19th of 2018, the officers went to this gentleman's house. He is on felony probation with a search file on waiver, and at that time they found a plastic baggie containing a white powder residue along with a used syringe that contained liquid that was not tested by our crime lab.
Okay. Was the substance methamphetamine?
The residue
Was methamphetamine?
was in the plastic baggie was residue.
Oh.
However, it was not, the other items were not
Oh, I
tested.
see. Is this true, sir?
Judge, if I may interject, and as the state was reading from the affidavit, the home that he was in, he was there, it wasn't his home, he wasn't owning it, but he was present at the time.
That's
Okay,
accurate.
but I guess the question is, were these items his?
They were within his dominion and control, Your Honor, yes.
This time, sir, accept your plea, adjudge you guilty. You'll be sentenced to, for possession of methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia, 4 years in Department of Corrections to be suspended. For possession of, no, that's not right, is it? For possession of controlled substance methamphetamine, you're sentenced to 4 years in Department of Corrections suspended. It says for paraphernalia, 4 years in Department of Corrections.
Should be suspended, Your Honor.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To be suspended then. Possession of marijuana, 30 days in the county jail to be suspended. You'll pay $200 in cost, a $2,000 fine, a DNA fee of $250, $20 booking fee, $200 public defender fee, a drug crime assessment of $125, and pay what you owe at a minimum rate of $100 per month, beginning within 30 days of today. Payments are made to the Sheriff's Department here in Baxter County.
Thank you, sir.
What else could we take?
Judge, we can recall Ms. Rios, Deborah Rios.
18-429, Deborah Rios.
Judge, Ms. Rios is with us. This is an appeal from district court. She informs me that she has a particular witness that's needed for her case is unavailable tomorrow, but looks like we're busy anyway with Ms. Hudnall, if the court would.
Well, this case may be actually easier to, I'll have to check on Ms. Hudnall. That's just a paraphernalia charge of Ms. Hudnall. We can try that. This would be a very easy case, Judge, to try. Yeah, I think that's right. We're going to do Ms. Hudnall.
Well, I can just leave them both on, and if one goes away, we got the other.
Let's do that.
So we get your witness here tomorrow. Okay. Judge, I'll visit with Ms. Rios when we conclude. She had said that this witness is pretty significant. I'll talk to her and
Okay.
when we get done. If there's an issue, I'll file a motion to continue. So, Steve.
anything else we can take up?
Judge, just for me to put on the record that I had these people on my list. James Foster has failed to appear. Christopher Lampkin.
Hold on just a
I'm
second.
sorry.
Okay, if you give them to me in their
Okay.
case number, I'll look.
Judge, James Foster, 18373.
Okay,
We have an alias warrant out for him. He was actually scheduled to be here today. The court had previously called Derek Garrels, 18385. Christopher Lampkin, Lamkin, 18263. He also has a alias warrant out for him. There's a Bethany Williams, 18257. And Joseph Kinsinger. And I don't have a number on that.
18365, sound right?
That sounds right.
let me look them up and see what we got. The alias warrants will remain out on Mr. Foster, Lampkin. What happened on Mr. Grails?
Mr. who, Your Honor? Garrels, you
Garrels.
called him previously, Judge, and there is an alias, you checked, there is an alias warrant
Okay.
out for Mr. Garrels. I think we have alias warrants out for everyone except Joseph Kinsinger, Kensinger, 18-365.
I ordered that a summons issue for arrest warrant issue for Mr. Kinsinger, and there was a summons issued. It doesn't, maybe it's just issued today. I don't see that
There's a
an
warrant.
arrest warrant was ever issued.
I'll check on that, Judge. That's,
Ms. Williams,
Judge, I'm sorry, Bethany Williams is 18357, not 257.
okay, there's been an order that the clerk issue an alias warrant and a summons be issued. I don't see a arrest warrant issued. Anyway,
I'll look at that as well, Judge. That's on Miss Williams?
yes.
All right.
Anything else?
So I assume, Judge, that there are warrants issued in James Foster, Christopher Lampkin. I don't know if the court looked at those.
Christopher Lampkin, there was an order to issue an alias warrant and a summons issued, but
Again, no warrant?
apparently no warrant.
I'll look at that, Judge.
Who else did you want me to check?
I ask on James Foster, 18-373.
Again, there's been an order for the clerk to issue an alias warrant and summons.
I'll look at that one, Judge.